you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome into Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins. Today's guest is somebody that's more well-known than Brad Pitt, and we've been trying to get this together for a long time, and finally he's here. He's Lieutenant Chuck Plitt from the Weaver Police Department, or Papa Smurf, and I'm one of Plitt's peeps. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk more with Lieutenant Plitt. Stay where you are. Welcome back into Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today's guest is a friend, and he's got a very interesting situation at the Weaver Police Department. There are a lot of things we're going to talk about. He's got a fan base that goes all the way to Arizona, so if you will, help me welcome Lieutenant Chuck Plitt, Papa Smurf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ken. Glad to be here.
First, I'm going to skip what I had asked. Where'd the Papa Smurf come from?
Papa Smurf was something that just caught on years ago. I was one of the oldest at the police department, and you know, blue goes in hand with police officers. And since I was the oldest and the shortest, and blue goes with police, I was deemed Papa Smurf. It just stuck.
But you didn't have an easy button, did you?
No, I didn't have. I wish I had an easy button.
Folks, you don't know what we're talking about. That was in the green room before we got here today. Lieutenant, you are, this is Veterans Issue. You are an Air Force veteran, I understand?
I am.
How many years?
6.
6 years. Most of them are like drafted your 2 years, then 4 years. How did you end up with 6?
Well, I ended up with 6 because I went Palace Chase after 3 years. I don't even know if they've still got that or not.
What is it?
But it's called Palace Chase. It's where you can get out after 3 years of active duty and transition to reserves.
Okay.
And finish your time out.
I didn't know about that. But anyhow, where'd you serve?
I served in Travis Air Force Base in California.
Okay.
I actually originally got Ryan mine in Germany, and I did the swap like an idiot and went to California Travis Air Force Base because I wanted to stay in the continental United States on my first tour. But hindsight, I wish I had gone to Germany. Well,
in hindsight, I went to Germany and I volunteered for Vietnam to get out of Germany. So, funny that. Okay, you got all that out of the way. Now, when you come out of the service when?
In 96.
96. And what did you go from there to go into law enforcement, or did you work other odd jobs, cutting grass?
I worked a few other odd jobs here and there. I had worked at the Anniston Airport fueling airplanes for a while, and then I did a little bit of private investigation, worked at a tree surgeon company, and then kept applying at police departments, and I got on at Jacksonville Police Department around, I believe it was around 94, as dispatcher.
It's hard giving them trees CPR, ain't it?
It is. It is.
Well, my daughter's done surgical tech. Maybe she can apply some of that to some of the trees around, and make some money there. I got a deal for her. Anyhow, when you went to law enforcement, where did you go first? I'm going to do some of this to get it put away. So where did you hire in law enforcement? Of course, you went to academy, I'm sure.
Right, I went to the academy. My first stop, of course, was Jacksonville Police Department dispatching, which was actually a plus because you got to learn all of the 10 codes and see the other side of the fence. And I had applied at several different police departments, and I applied at Weaver, took the civil service exam, and I got called. As a matter of fact, I got called while I was out in the woods doing tree surgeon stuff because I worked both jobs. And I did my interview with wood chips all over me with the chief, and lo and behold, I got the job. It was a actual cut and pay from dispatching to police officer at Weaver. But that's how I got my foot in the door and went to the academy from there.
Well, let's put something on the record. As a tree surgeon, when the tree falls in the forest, does it make a noise?
I have no earthly idea.
You never seen the commercial?
I have.
I see the tree yelling.
I love that commercial.
I bet you do. So anyhow, I say it does. I say if you lay a tape recorder out there and a tree falls, you can get a recording of it. That's my theory on that. But anyhow, the reason I wanted you on here is because this web page, you set up a web page of folks can go on it to the Weaver Police Department. And just about every day there's a posting that you do. You run the website yourself?
I do.
All right. And What made you want to set the website up with the PD and talking about the various things that happen in the city?
The funny part is that I really didn't want to at first. We had to keep up with the times. We realized that almost every agency was starting to go to social media of some sort, and it was usually Facebook. And I don't know if it was the movie Stripes where this scene occurred, but have you ever seen where they're all in line and the commander asks for a volunteer, and all of a sudden everyone steps back and one person's up front? That's how I got it originally, because Facebook, the social media, I wasn't really into it. And primarily because I was tired of seeing people's garbage online, and all of the drama. So I wasn't really interested in it. But as we came into opening this Facebook page and getting it started, I realized that we could actually go places with this, and I realized the valuable tool that it had become. So I took over it. I was the one that decided that I would go ahead and give it a shot, and here I am.
Well, the one thing that we noticed when I first saw it was that you had a sense of humor. You're able to take serious stuff, put a spin on it to make it interesting for people like myself and others to log on to it. But also, you deal with laws what the real law is. For example, the turning lane. If you want to get in a turn lane, which side of the vehicle are you supposed to be on? You know which one I'm talking about there?
Right, the one driver's side.
I had no idea that was a law.
Yeah, and that's the bad thing, is that they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. And as I've gone through my career, I've realized that a lot of people would ask questions about simple traffic issues, and they didn't know the answer, and it's not in the book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not in the book that you study for to get your driver's license. Some of the things used to be in there, and some of them are not in there anymore. But the bottom line to me was, if you don't know it, ignorance of the law does kind of play a role if you don't know exactly what you're supposed to do as far as traffic's concerned. So I thought that it would be important to go on our webpage and have what I call a legal FYI of the month. And each month we try and find something traffic related and put it online and tell people exactly what you're supposed to do so that we can get the word out.
That really we got a lot of hits on that one, but there was the one that you put on there that really near and dear to everybody that's watching the show. It's a 4-lane highway, left lane. You're in that left lane and the cars are passing you on the right side. You addressed that and it went viral.
Oh yeah, it went crazy. And it's a good thing, because, and still to this day, you can go down a 4-lane highway and people won't get out of that fast lane. But for safety issues, the state of Alabama has made it so that you're supposed to get over. The left lane's only for passing, the fast lane, but people stay in it all the time. And that was, you're right, as soon as I put that on there, it went crazy.
Yeah.
But that's great. I do a lot of research. I ask for judges' opinions at times and DA's opinions so that I don't get bad information out there. And it's worked out great. We've gotten a wonderful response.
We got learning. I've been driving a lot of years. I had no idea the law, how that is, which side of the vehicle you're supposed to be on. But I wish there was some technology that people like me that's heading to Jacksonville and I'm doing the speed limit and the car in front of me is 20 miles slower, that I could push a button and like y'all put that strip out and puncture their tires, that I could blow their trunk open or something. I'm
You're not the only one that thinks
I'm not
so.
going to get that done, I know, but I have thought those thoughts. Could I have a strip out there to puncture those tires? They need to move over,
Yep.
But we're gonna have to go to a break here. This first portion come back. We're gonna talk more about the website, and the folks out there that's gonna be watching this, they're already anticipating the show, so they don't know what we're gonna do. So stay right there. We'll be right back. Get your pen. More with Lieutenant Plitt. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking to Lieutenant Plitt, Papa Smurf from down at Weaver Police Department. We're talking about the website. When on the website, there's some things that you'll post almost a daily, what happened in Weaver the night before. And people look at that and they think, okay, you got drug deal, you got domestic abuse, you got child abuse, you got all the things that you got in a big city. Yours is the same as it'd be in Chicago or New York, whenever. It's just on a smaller version.
And that's right. And a lot of people don't really realize that. I know that when I first started, Weaver had a bad reputation for speed traps and this, that, and the other, and a lot of small towns.
No, I'm just kidding.
At times. But in all seriousness, they don't really realize how much goes on.
Yeah.
the day-to-day activities that take place in a small agency, a large agency, there's the difference is how many officers you got, how many citizens you've got, and how many you're policing. But as far as what happens, same thing happens everywhere.
You've got one of the most dangerous intersections in this area on Anniston Beach Road and Highway 21, north and south. Am I right?
Yeah.
Would I be? And you also got in the city the four-way stops and the real sharp little turns and stuff and stop signs that people don't see till they already did the California rolling stop. Am I right?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
My daughter has been known to do the California rolling stop.
A lot of people do that.
Really?
But you know, the best part about it is that we are tough when it comes to traffic.
Yeah.
But most of the citizens, I'd say at least 95%, if not more, love the fact that we're out there slowing these people down and making them pay attention to any of the signs that we've gotten. It works out so that our community is one where you can walk around, your kids can ride on bicycles, you know, without having to worry too terribly much. It keeps things in check, and we like it that way.
Well, Weaver is on the move. If anybody's keeping up with things, Wayne Willis and all that out there, the city council is doing a great job, and I'm not just saying that. But now, I don't want to run out of time before we talk about Demon. We all got to know Demon before we knew Demon. Just so the people that's watching that not on Facebook knows about Demon, your K9. That's what he's called, the K9 officer.
Our K9.
Officer Demon.
Officer Demon, that's him. He's about 4.5 years old, and he was trained out at Fort McClellan with Auburn University, their K9 program. Mm-hmm. And I believe they spent about 6 weeks, him and Officer Kelly, training out there. It's very extensive training, and he is a valuable asset. I mean, I think every police department should have one. He's busted more people coming through our jurisdiction with drugs than I can count, and you know, I can't emphasize enough how much of an asset he is. And Facebook, as a matter of fact, when we first posted a picture of Demon, we had a few of Plitt's peeps that got on there and said, hey, he doesn't have a vest. And from there, you know, it took off and people wanted to donate money. So we ended up getting enough money very quickly, as a matter of fact, to buy Demon a vest. So now he's protected.
Well, I don't know, but I don't let the control room don't know it, but I lost all hearing. I don't hear anything back there. So if we got 30, 40 minutes, they're going to have to let me know. But anyhow, we was talking about Demon. I remember, that's what got me interested in the site, was where people were talking about Demon didn't have a bulletproof vest. But you got, how much did it cost?
It was right at $1,000. We raised $1,041, I believe it was, somewhere along those lines. Mm-hmm. So right at $1,000 is what it cost to put him in a vest. And this vest protects him from knives as well.
Wow.
You can get them a little bit cheaper than that are just bulletproof, but we wanted to protect him from both bullets and knives.
He's been a help from some of your postings. He sniffs some stuff out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's an awesome K9.
Well, some of the things that you get that I get from the website is how the people, I say stupid criminals, they do some of the stupidest things, and they want to turn on you because they got caught. And I always thought you hear about you talking to the bread and breakfast. It's as bad as I think it is, the breakfast, the oatmeal that you talk about.
I really don't know. I've never eaten it before. I've just been told. And you know, it puts a neat little spin on the post when we tell them that they're going to the bed and breakfast to
get them bracelets,
oatmeal, or get silver bracelets.
Wow. Well, we talked a little bit about the Veterans Court. You're not into that, but I just want to know your feelings. How do you feel about having a Veterans Court where somebody can go through that treatment and not have to lose their ability to work for law enforcement?
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything that I've read about it, the research that I've done as far as that Veterans Court is concerned, is just, I don't see any flaws in it whatsoever. I think it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And I think when you and I were talking earlier, I think that we're kind of obligated in a sense that, you know, these men and women are going overseas, they're fighting for this country, and because of that, they're coming back with PTSD
damaged
and things.
goods.
Right, and I think we need to help them out, and that court's going to be a valuable asset to them.
I talk a lot on here about all wounds are not visible, And if you've got a veteran that's got wounds internal, if you saw an amputee, you automatically understand. But those wounds that you can't see cause them to react to a situation. Say an officer stops one of them on the road and they just react because they just still in the battle mode.
Right.
And if you can get them past that and be a productive citizen while staying home with their family and not being a burden on the county and the city, state, that's a win-win, I think.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. I want to make, what does it take to be a Plitt's peep?
All you got to do is go on our Facebook page and like us.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all there is
I
to
became one. I was waiting on I have to have dues and stuff. I didn't.
That's not a bad idea, but
Hey, we can make some money here.
Yep.
Y'all call me and I'll send me some money in the mail. No, I tell you what, put it behind that bush out there. Don't let anybody see you. It's been a great. I think we talked a little bit out in the room about social media, how it's helpful and sometimes it's hurtful if you put out the wrong information. But we've had situations here where law enforcement has brought down some pretty bad guys because Facebook was getting the correct information out there.
Right.
But during the incidents, they put out bad information, but it's not intentional. It's just don't put out. A matter of fact, I saw yesterday the plane that they're looking for in Asia that landed on Gilligan's Island. That we know that's not true, right? So anyhow, and they had the guy from Fantasy Island saying the plane. That's off the radar then. When you make your postings, you take a lot of. I see it in the post. You take a lot of effort to make sure that you don't name names. You don't put names with that criminal. And sometimes the criminal's relatives will out themselves, but I mean, I never see you put names. You just talk about the perps and the idiots and the.
Yep, and I leave it that way on purpose. A lot of people have asked me, they've sent me emails and private messages, and they've wondered why I don't put a picture or post their names, and there's good reason behind that. You know, I don't want other members of the family or friends of that person to become a victim and have to answer a million questions. People saying, hey, I saw your mom, your dad on TV or on Facebook, their mugshot. I just think it's important that nobody else pay for the crime that they did except for them. So I get the message across. Everybody knows what happens in our jurisdiction, and you know the picture and the names, it's kind of died off. Nobody's really interested in that.
We're down less than a minute. I want to make sure that we get that in. I said I advocate for a sign that says "Welcome to Weaver, criminals beware. You could be on Facebook." Would that be okay?
That'd be fine with me.
Mayor Willis, if you're watching, you might want to look at that because now they're saying. Don't put me on Facebook. Is that right?
They are. There's a few here and there that say I'm not going to be on Facebook, am I? And the answer is yeah, you probably will, but your name's not going to be on there.
Thank you. Appreciate you being on the show. Time flies, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
But I really do appreciate this, and all the fan club out there. We'll be glad to see this. We'll be right back with some news that you can use. Stay right there. Welcome back to Veterans Issues, and I appreciate Lieutenant Plitt coming on and doing the show today. I hope all you Plitt's peep out there, that is so hard to say, Plitt's peeps, but I hope you enjoyed the show today and was informative. You get to see the other side of him, and it was great to have him here, and I really appreciate him coming on. If we could get the control room and bring up a picture. This week we lost a couple of good, heaven received a few soldiers. That right there is my young baby brother, Robert Rollins, and he's went home, and I appreciate all the postings that everybody gave me on him. I didn't know it would be that hard, but it's been quite a loss. We lost another good soldier, a Pearl Harbor survivor, Bill Nestor. Bill Nestor, he's been on this show several times, and Bill was a Pearl Harbor survivor, and he was a survivor in the other part of life too. And he's a very dear friend, and hope y'all will remember him. And thanks to everybody. I went to the law enforcement tag. That has been such a blessing for us. Bill Partridge designed that tag, and it's for all law enforcement. It's going to help us build a memorial up in Anniston, but also a portion of that tag goes to the Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. And if you'll notice that shield and that rose, that's symbolic of the memorial for the law enforcement. You do not have to be connected to law enforcement to get that, but I can assure you that any law enforcement official following a car with that on the thing will know that you are really supporting them, not that little $20 sticker you got in the window. But when you go to the tag office, think about that, and it helps honor our fallen law enforcement. So appreciate you doing that. And I want to thank WEAC TV24 for allowing this to go out on the air every week. And they've stepped up where all the other 67 counties have not. And the veterans out there have no other source of information except this show, and I appreciate them for giving me that opportunity. Now, you see the WEAC TV24 On Demand. Those are sponsored by K.L. Brown, Steve Hurst, Randy Wood, and Barbara Boyd. That's the way veterans out there get the information. That's the laws that are being passed in Montgomery. And if we don't do it here, then it won't be done. Now, also, the folks out there at the Cheahaw Regional Humane Shelter need some items. I'm gonna give you this phone number. That's the reason I asked you to get the pen. I want you to call out there and see what all they need. They need sheets and blankets and things for the animals. But 256-241-3647, 256-241-3647. And that anything you help with treats or anything that they can use out there. Now I've got, I want to remind you to pay it forward, folks. I always tell you about that every week. But I got my new friend, my old friend back here. She's out on spring break. We'll get the camera over here on Miss Isabella Prim. Bella, we call her. Bella, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you back. This is spring break for you? Mm-hmm. You didn't go to the beach, so you came out to Veterans Issues. Well, welcome to the show, ma'am. It's good to have you back. I'll get you in December, and then when school's out in the summer, you get to come on here. And Bella does a Pledge of Allegiance. We'd like to do it at the beginning of the show, but we don't have that time. You got anything you want to say to your little sister, Caitlin? Look in that camera right there, number 2, and tell her you say, I love you, Caitlin.
I love you, Caitlin.
That's great. Well, you would. She does love you, Caitlin. She does love you. Anyhow, that's, but it's good to have you back on here. So we're going to go out with a Pledge of Allegiance, and you're going to leave it, and then we'll end with a salute. Is that all right? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Look at that camera right there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And let's give this salute. Wait a minute, you're jumping the gun on me. We're going to give this salute to all the law enforcement. How's that? Here we go. Salute, and we're out of here. Next week.